All right, so we are live on YouTube, and Audsie, this mic is all yours.
Thank you, Lynn. Hi, everybody. And I'm back from a little, what do you call those? Secondments or something like that when they go
Hiatus, maybe?
hiatus. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Sabbatical.
uh, Sabbatical. That's what I was thinking. Sabbatical. I was on a sabbatical for a little bit. The last time I read from A Course in Mysticism and Miracles, Begin Your Spiritual Adventure by John Moondy, PhD. Um, so Dr. John. The last time I read the book was on July 25th, 2024. So I'm back and I took a look the other day at how many pages and divided it by two, which would bring us to page 139.5, half a page there. And so we're almost smack dab in the middle because we're on page 132 or partway through it. So we're about halfway through the book. So I'm just going to get right into it again here. And I'm on page, as I said, 132. And there's a little section here called Lost at Sea. Two shipwrecked sailors were adrift on a raft for days. In desperation, one knelt and began to pray. Oh Lord, I haven't lived a good life. I've drunk too much. I've lied. I've cheated. I've gambled. I've caroused with women. I've done many bad things. But Lord, if you'll save me, I promise. Don't say another word, shouted his shipmate. I think I spotted a ship. That's cute. Oh, that reminds me. The other day I was watching something on YouTube and I came across this story about a family from, a long time ago who the dad decided to buy a sailboat and the family went and did this sail around adventure. And as they got into it, this boat, I guess it attracted these whales, and the whales were trying to mate with the boat. And it ended up this boat ship like sunk. So they were on a dinghy, and there were several of them, the family, twins, the mom and dad, and then this fellow they had picked up, and they were in this small dinghy. They survived by eating, I think it was some type of turtle. They could eat the turtle and it would give them uh, liquid and sustenance. Yeah, it was a very interesting story. It made me think of Lost at Sea. But yeah, don't say another word. I've spotted a ship. Don't make any. Don't say you're going to give up anything because that's what we're thinking in our minds. I'm thinking I have to give something up to uh to go with God, to go with who I believe is the creator or what my notion of it is. But you know, words are words and they just take us to the place of the experience. So let's keep going here. And just a note, I'm not the best at pronouncing names or places. So if I stumble, it's okay. Uh, but I appreciate your patience. So 20th century science historian Jacob Bronowski notes in his book, The Ascent of Man, that success in science does not come until science asks the right question. The answer is always there, but first we have to ask the right question. Prayer works in much the same way. God cannot answer prayer with an illusion, nor is it possible that God can give you something hurtful. Much of what we call prayer is simply asking God to help us on our own terms. Contemplative prayer, on the other hand, comes not from need, but from love. And I would also add, not from lack, not from a place of asking for something that I am lacking, because I'm moving into the thought system of knowing that I am a holy child of God. And I get to that thought system by practicing the workbook lessons in the Course in Miracles, reading the text, and hanging out in communities such as this, ACIM Gather, with my mighty companions. So thank you. For a number of years, I led monthly discussions at a local bookstore that focused on spiritual books. One month, the manager asked me if I would do a session on The Secret, a book based on the law of attraction. And that's by Rhonda Byrne, I believe. And interestingly, I was just in a group and they were talking about the third book to The Secret, because I guess The Secret's volume 1 and volume 2 was The Power, I think, and then volume 3's The Magic. So Rhonda's been kind of evolving too with her books and words that we use as pointers through her series, The Secret, because that was very law of attraction based. And from what I understand, I haven't read The Magic, but somebody had expressed that it's really just about gratitude. So that's interesting. So I agreed. I agreed to having a book session based on the law of attraction and drew a large crowd. Apparently, everyone wanted to know the secret. The book claims that positive thinking can create positive results. Indeed, it can. We may pray for success, work hard, and achieve it, but we have to think about whom we are praying to and what we are praying for. The ego can also answer prayers, but its answers do not always bring us peace. The ego is very subtle. It may persuade us to go into debt to obtain some earthly reward. That idea may be appealing in the short term, but the debt must be paid eventually and with interest. The mind is very powerful, the Course reminds us. The mind is very powerful, the Course reminds us. The reminder. And never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instant it is creating. That's from the text, chapter 2. Every instant it is creating for good and for evil. There are many examples of how positive thinking or possibility thinking or prosperity thinking can keep us focused on getting what we want in the world. Many popular speakers espouse this philosophy, and it is easy to see why they have achieved success. Much power is gained through training and exercising the mind, just like going to the gym and pumping up the muscles, with the iron. That's what the mind needs is that exercise, that regular fitness. There are plenty of audio and YouTube productions designed to pump up the mind. But what mind are we pumping up? True happiness lies only in the expansion of peace and thus the creation of heaven. Our task is not to affirm the affirmative. Our task is to negate the negative, thereby finding freedom from the ego. Real success means removing the blocks to an awareness of love's presence. And the Course talks about that, the Course is not trying to teach us what love is, rather but rather it teaches us how to see, how to become aware and witness these blocks to an awareness of love's presence so that we can heal our minds. I can heal my mind. I do my part tending to my own garden. I don't worry about anybody else's. And that's really hard because that's how I've lived my whole life. I mean, it's not really hard, but at first it was so hard because that was who I was. That's all I did was live my life for other people, adapting, a chameleon, acting to how I needed to be in a certain situation, except for with loved ones or when the how you have those pots that you stick together. It's a pressure cooker. And then I would just have these massive outbursts of just angry, angry, angry. And I don't even know what I was talking about with that. I guess it's the blocks to love's present. Just being that chameleon. And what I realize now is it's not a bad thing. It's just I just knew I wasn't a me in a sense, I think. That was part of the journey I had, that I felt uncomfortable in the world. I didn't feel of the world. And that now is serving me well to um, remember having that feeling, that experience, because it's like, well, no wonder I didn't feel comfortable because I'm not home. I'm not at home. How can I feel comfortable? So it's been a great learning for this character to, step back, letting him lead the way in the sense of Audrey needs to sort of just surround myself with this teaching in order to retrain this mind and exercise it, for lack of a word here. So you can you can run needles through your body and not hurt yourself. You can walk on hot coals without getting burned. You can endure long periods without sleep. You can lose a lot of weight. You can make a lot of money and amass great wealth and power. The Guinness Book of World Records is filled with amazing examples of mind over matter. But these are not miracles, and they do not bring us closer to God. And a miracle in A Course in Miracles is a change of perception, changing the mind. That's the miracle. From fear to love. They may, on the other hand, be helpful if they bring us to a better understanding of the power of the mind. So everything can be used for my healing, for our healing of this mind, even if it is, an illusion. It's because that's where I'm at. I'm in this dream. I'm in this illusion, and everything is being used for my good. The universe conspires for my good, not Audrey's good, the good of all of the Son of God. And that just plays out in this character. And great things happen to this character. Sometimes some people might think, oh, well, that's such a great thing. But as I've built up this trust, it's like, well, it's going to be good because it wouldn't be happening unless it was good. Whether that be, oh, great, I've uncovered a block here. This is awesome. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. There's discomfort. And at first that's tough to want to go into, but little by little, inch by inch, it's just flowing. And I'm grateful. These events may also be more, I don't know what this word is, thaumaturgy. It's Thaumaturgy. I've never seen such a word. I don't know if anybody else has. It's thaumaturgy. These events may be more, that word, than truly miraculous. Oh, look at this. That maturity is defined as the working of wonders or miracles. So that's the working of wonders or miracles, but it is also magic. It works on a different level from the truly miraculous. Magic may work with illusion, but God cannot answer prayer with an illusion. God can God can give only good gifts to his children. And from what I understand, this body is magic also. It's in the world of illusion. It's the biggest magic trick of all is this body. And yeah, that's magic. God, the ego can dress itself up with many different chains. I knew a man who chained himself to a luxury car for 7 years by committing to 800 per month car payments for 7 years. Wow. His wife was very angry and might have agreed with the Course when it says, escape today the chains you place upon your mind when you perceive salvation here. For what you value, you make part of you as you perceive yourself. All things you seek to make your value greater in your sight limit you further, hide your worth from you, and add another bar across the door that leads to true awareness of yourself with the capital S. That's from workbook lesson 128. Mystics do not confuse form and content. How we stand, sit, or kneel is form. When we pray does not matter, and words are but symbols of symbols. Quieting the mind, looking out the window, watching birds at the bird feeder, watching a water fountain, or reverently humming a chant, or as much prayers as any said in words. It's the prayer of the heart that blesses the world it sees. It's content that matters. As Bunyan wrote in Pilgrim's Progress, in prayer, it is better to have a heart without words than words without heart. In prayer, it is better to have a heart without words than words without heart. It's beautiful. Alphabetical prayers. A grandfather passed his granddaughter's bedroom and overheard her repeating the alphabet. He asked her, "What on earth are you up to?" "I'm saying my prayers," she explained, "but I don't remember the words, so I'm just saying all the letters. I'll let God put it together for me." Isn't that great? I don't remember the words, so I'm just going to say all the letters and I'll let God decide when, where, who, what, and put it all together for me, which is kind of confusing because it's sort of like, well, how's God going to do that? He's not in the illusion. He's not here. He's up in God mind. He doesn't even know I'm I'm gone. Well, it's not Audrey. He doesn't know that collective Son of God is gone because it's not happening. So we're here in this space and saying, I trust, it's all for the good. God's going to put it together. And it's so funny because I can still get caught up in, oh, look at how great things are unfolding and this and that. But it's still form. It's still a trick. It's still that sleight of hand. And I don't want to lose sight that that isn't the goal either, isn't the goal, at least as far as I'm concerned. That's not the goal, to be more comfortable in the world. I mean, I take meds for that. I don't need anything else for that. I really, really just long for being home and waking up. So Lynn put in the chat from Course in Miracles Manual for Teachers, chapter 21. And Karen was just apparently reading about this. And here's the quote: "What you ask for, you receive. But this refers to the prayer of the heart, not to the words you use in praying. Sometimes the words and the prayer are contradictory, sometimes they agree. It does not matter. God does not understand words, for they were made by separated minds to keep them in the illusion of separation." Bingo. That's just what I said, right? So he says it better. He's a doctor after all. And so, yeah, that's a great place to stop things for today, I guess, because we're at the top of the hour, and I'll be back every week, hopefully, as I'm able to finish up this book. And it's a selfish reason, really, for me being here, in that I want to finish reading this book. And I just sometimes find it hard to get to it, just open it up and do it. So this forces me to do it. So thank you for being here as we read through Dr. John Mundy's A Course in Mysticism and Miracles. All right, Lynn, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Audsie. This is really fun, and I'm really happy you're doing that. And so coincidental that Karen was just reading that whole section, and when you were saying the prayer of the heart, I'm like, she was just talking about